don't care who you wanna ship. We're gonna read your fic and we're gonna give it shipwrecked. Ooh, shipwrecked.
All right, welcome to this week's episode of Shipwrecked. We're going to be ruining Thorky, which is the combination ship of Thor and Loki from the, I guess, Norse mythology, but also Avengers. Anyway, so I'm Cris.
I'm Ryan.
I'm Taneene. I occasionally show up.
Accurate.
So, I guess we're going to start out, and we're trying out this new thing, this new segment. Taneene, what are we calling it?
How did you guys meet?
Yeah, which is where we basically describe how we were first introduced to the ship in question, or the fandom.
Yeah, or the characters in general.
Yeah.
Anything.
Basically.
Yeah.
Taneene, you want to start us off?
We're talking about Thor and Loki tonight. I was first introduced to Thor as a comic book character, or just a character, when I was watching Adventures in Babysitting when I was a kid. And if you all recall, the young lady that's being babysat has an unhealthy obsession with Thor, and they eventually are helped by a man who eerily resembles Thor. But I, of course, didn't know that. I didn't get that reference at the time. Loki was introduced to me as if you all recall, Jim Carrey was in a phenomenal film in 1993, I believe. I don't know. It was the 90s. It was a good time for Jim Carrey, I'll tell you that. So he was in a film called The Mask, and if you all recall, when he puts on the mask, he becomes this fun, zany character, and the idea was that Loki, the god of mischief, was actually trapped in the mask, and that was the theory that he was trying to uncover halfway through the movie. So that was really where I started hearing about Loki, but I never really saw him again on screen until the first Thor movie, which is where he was introduced, if I believe. Correct?
I think you're right.
Everyone?
I think that's right.
I haven't seen any of the actual Thor movies, so...
What?
I've seen the Avengers and some of the other ones.
This is cinematic history, Ryan. We're watching a 20-film build-up. Like, I've
seen a solid, half of them. Okay?
No. I started crying in the theater when I saw the trailer for Avengers Infinity War, because I was like, I'm actually a part of cinematic history right now. Like, I've been there since the beginning. I went and saw Iron Man in theaters, and now I'm watching all of this culminate into this insane 20-film build-up. Oh my god!
I saw the first Iron Man in theaters.
I did not.
So did I was going to say, we all did, but clearly you did not.
Okay, so I want to say, I need to look up the year of the first Thor movie.
Yeah.
Hold up. Thor, was it 2011?
I'm guessing.
I want to say
Yes.
20.
Yeah, it was 2011. Okay, so that was actually the first movie that I saw in the Marvel universe.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
I had managed to avoid it before that point.
Oh, no, of course. We're all speaking, of course, of the MCU Marvel Universe. The Marvel Cinematic Universe kicked off from Jon Favreau's 2008 Iron Man film, not referring to Sam Raimi's excellent cinematic masterpiece from, I believe, 2002 Spider-Man.
Okay, that was beautiful. I don't know how you did that, but I'm impressed. So because I remember it because it was my senior year of high school, and I was graduating, and I went to see it with a group of people, and Taneene, you might have been there.
I'm always there, my friend, just hiding in the shadows.
It was someone's birthday.
This sounds oddly familiar.
Bianco's birthday.
Seems it was my birthday.
Yeah, it was.
Do you remember when we all went and saw Green Lantern in theaters, and we all started crying out loud?
Because the reason I was crying because there wasn't enough 3D glasses, and we went and saw it in 3D, and I didn't have a pair, so it's really dark. Basically,
Just had a boring movie.
I didn't even really have a seat either, and I was just kind of in the front of the theater,
I know it was an oddly awful movie to have such a terrible experience, like to imply that it was that popular. You know what I'm saying? Like typically a film like that where the seats run out, the glasses run out, it's pretty high in demand. But this was the goddamn Green Lantern. Like why were they so under
They went
equipped?
and saw it at the Dollar Theater and straight up like
It was packed.
it was packed. There were children sitting in the aisle. Do you remember this? Yeah. Yes.
It's even worse than I remember.
Yeah. I mean, so anyway.
Though, fun fact, I actually just rewatched Green Lantern,
Okay.
and it's just as bad as you thought.
What was the worst part that you remember now that it's been
Oh
refilmed?
gosh, I think I didn't actually get all the way through of it because I got like halfway through and I had to stop. But there's just some part where he's like reciting the oath, and like Ryan Reynolds is just there really confused, and then like it lights up, and then he knows it instantly, and I'm just like, what just happened?
Hey, like in Pocahontas.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, do you remember where she just sings a song and then she knows how to speak English? My name is Pocahontas. I'm like, bitch, what? That's not how that works. It's listen with your heart and he will understand. That's not how that works.
It could be.
No.
This whole montage of like him making up a oath, and then it was just like, oh, that was all pointless because we're just making fun of him.
Same.
The moral of the story is I watched it because Blake Lively was in it. Apparently,
Apparently,
I didn't know that until I watched the
Oh,
cast
see,
list. I'm
I
like,
thought
oh.
you had watched it specifically because you like Blake Lively, and then
Well,
you.
no, that's why I rewatched it.
He has like a
that's the
mad
reason.
crush on her.
It's kind
It's
of
super awkward.
Hang on, wasn't she in that film Savages?
I don't know.
Mostly
Is
she's
it
in the show Gossip Girl.
No. I want if she's in Savages, I want you to watch Savages and then never have a crush on Blake Lively again. If that's who I'm
I'd be
thinking
like
about,
really okay if that happened. I don't.
it'll just
Me too.
you're like let me
Send
be
help.
rid of this woman.
It's just.
Send help.
He's just like wakes up. He's like had another Gossip Girl dream, and I'm like, dude, I know what that means.
Yep. Okay. She was in Savages. Please go watch it and then cry
Yeah,
yourself to sleep that
It's
night.
amazing.
Sounds like a normal night.
Owie.
So we're halfway through a segment, and it got derailed.
So lit. Oh yeah. Well,
what
so you were introduced. I guess we both just explained how we were introduced, though.
Yeah, like I might have played a video game or two with one of them before, but mostly the movies.
Yeah, I mean, I know about Norse mythology a little bit just from like being a child
Yeah.
who read books, but like,
Show off.
yeah, like I could read. It's more than we can say for Ryan.
Not well,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
I cut by.
you're
Oh
still
man,
just getting by.
Nordic mythology is wild.
Yeah, I feel like maybe that's where we should start.
Yeah,
Do you want
Nordic mythology is like it's like the Four Loko to like Greek mythology's Everclear. Like it's a different drunk.
to? No, you're right. You're right on that. Oh, that's solid. Yeah.
Though actually, this reminds me, it wasn't my first introduction, but I read a book about a year ago called The Long Dark Tea Time of the Soul by Douglas Adams, who wrote Hitchhiker's Guide.
Mhm.
And Thor is in it. And he's just a really confused guy who's also a god.
Same.
It's really funny if you like crossovers between Norse mythology and
I mean,
dry
isn't everything
humor.
like a crossover now? Like when you watch a new TV show, it's just like some kind of crossover feel like that.
Seriously, but I do appreciate. I'm sorry, I do appreciate like that '90s schlockiness that CW brings with their
No, it's so
crossovers.
good.
I
It's
appreciate
really
it.
good.
I never watch them, but I appreciate them. From
So like
afar.
the best part though is that like Ryan and I are both like complete CW trash. Like some different shows,
it
there's
kinda
overlap. Like for instance, he's obsessed with like Green Arrow and like
in like all of those. that go
yeah,
with it.
and I'm like obsessed with like Vampire Diaries and the originals. And then we're both like way too about Gossip Girl, so you know, you get that, right?
Yeah. Same.
Yeah.
I mean, I was into Supernatural and Heart of
Oh
Dixie.
yeah. Oh, I guess we're all into Supernatural. I forgot.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had talking about that.
But no, I loved Heart of Dixie. I mean, I stopped watching after a while.
Yeah, that happened.
Because it's kind of hard. I mean, like, you know, George is obviously with Lemon. Lemon's cheating on George, and like that other Wade is like not a good fit for. Like, it was like a whole
Yeah,
thing.
I totally watched that show and understood all of that.
Exactly. Yeah,
That's
I'm
right.
with you.
All of
Yeah,
those
fuck that
names
guy.
weren't the whitest shit you've ever heard in your
Just
life.
describe like the
Same.
country club. So, yeah,
That was just a plain mayonnaise sandwich I just
I
introduced
like
you.
mayonnaise, sort of.
Of course you do. No, of
Because
course you
I'm
do.
white. Yeah,
What are you trying to say?
mayonnaise. No, yeah, my mom likes to make like the thing that's passed down in our family is like mayonnaise egg sandwiches. So like, but like,
Like bad egg
no,
salad?
not like egg salad. Like, you get some toast, you fry up an egg or scramble an egg, then you put mayonnaise on the toast, and then you put the scrambled egg on top, and then you put more toast mayonnaise on the other side, and it's like a toast mayonnaise egg sandwich.
I feel like that's a really weak family
No,
tradition.
you know what? It's all we got.
I mean, it's okay. My family's family tradition is anytime we're going on like a road trip type thing, we always have to sing 2 songs. We have to sing Hotel California and Escape the Pina Colada song.
Can you really
That's our
already?
song.
Because those are just the songs I sing every day.
Right? And I don't think my parents know all the words to Hotel California, so they just kind of like screech into the night.
Same.
Favorite words of the guitar solo.
Yeah.
Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
My mom gave me a Hotel California shirt the other day, and now I just wear it.
That's good. I love it.
So anyway, we I feel like we covered how we got here to this place. This place of Thorky. Though, okay, I must say that my introduction to Thorky as like a thing was literally just like 2 weeks ago. Taneene was like, "Hey, like we should do a Thorky episode," and I was like, "What the hell kind of ship is a Thorky?"
Actually, can we talk about the portmanteau thing for these things? Like, I always feel like we should have a segment where it's like, do you like the slash or do you like the combo name? Because some of them they work. Like Destiel, like I like that. Thorky, I'm not about it. Thor/Loki, just
Thorky though.
Yeah.
sounds
Dorky.
dorky.
It's really dorky. I don't understand this fandom or this ship. I was reading through all these fics and I couldn't pick any of them because they're just all like angsty, but like kind of well written. Like it's just like that. I was surprised at like the kind of person who's into Thorky is like pretty smart and like older, I guess. I don't know. This is the impression I was getting.
Can I ask you too? Do you see it? Do you understand why it's shipped? Like, there's some ships where I'm like, I don't get this, but like some of the ships, I'm like, okay, I can see it.
I just don't. I feel like it's not. And granted, I haven't seen the newest Thor. I saw like an Avenger, maybe.
I was gonna say.
A singular Avenger.
I'm pretty
I saw,
sure
like, the first
I
Avengers
only saw
movie.
one Avenger.
One Avenger? Which one?
It was Peter Parker. He was trying to climb out of the
I
trash
haven't
can.
seen anything where Spider-Man's happening.
Yeah, I actually haven't seen the first Avengers movie since it came out.
Yeah.
I feel like
but
that's the
though,
only one that.
I mean, regarding like Avenger stuff with that, I mean, everyone was theorizing that Loki meant to lose and stuff. That's a whole different thing. I won't even get into this right now. That's a whole
You're
different
deep
thing.
into the ship, and I'm not sure if we're going to be able to rescue you.
It's okay. So here's my question. Now, when you, because as you all understand, you guys saw the first Thor. I don't remember. Honestly, I've like already forgotten the first 15 minutes of it.
But it was the first introduction to this universe that I had was the Thor movie in high school. A birthday party. Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
Loki is a frost giant, so technically he's blue dabba dee dabba die. When we're reading these, are you imagining that he's blue? Parentheses dabba dee dabba die.
No. When I'm reading this,
Like blue as in the emotional state?
Nah, girl, he's like blue. He's like Navi from like Avatar blue.
okay, no. So when I'm thinking about these, I'm thinking that it's Tom Hiddleston.
Okay, Tom Hiddleston with that greasy
Literally
ass
all
looking
I-
like
I
snake
was about
wig.
to say, yeah.
Yes.
Like Baby Snape.
Yes.
I'm thinking like
Yes.
Baby Snape is hooking up with Thor. Like that's basically what this ship is telling me. This is how I feel about it.
And I'm all right with
I'm
it.
not actually like I don't really see it.
You're
It's
not
just
feeling
that
it.
Thor is such a vapid character. I can't understand the attraction between these.
Are you mixing Thor up with his character from Ghostbusters? It's very easy.
No, it's
It's very easy to do.
the same character. Okay,
That was a
No.
crossover.
I'm pretty sure it's
I've-
the same character.
Thor is he's a confident white man
No.
living his confident white man and like living with his confident white man
That Thor
antics.
just doesn't know what's going on.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what he is.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
He
He's
ha-
out of touch, and he's like, "Man, I forgot to pack my khakis." Like that's Thor.
And he goes like,
Thor.
"Man, I
That
wish
was
somebody
Thor.
would have reminded me." Like, bitch, that's your problem. That's a you problem. Fix it. Like he's that
I
person.
feel like that is very true.
Oh my god.
Now I feel like I relate to Thor a lot.
I think in this conversation, you're clearly Thor, and sorry.
Yep,
Yep.
it's all right.
I'm Odin because every so often I keep interrupting everyone by going,
It's okay. I'm pretty sure I'm Loki because I like,
"You're mischievous."
I'm really just real sneaky. So it's fine.
He's so cute though. Like they should have cast someone like you know what would have been great is if Steve Buscemi played Loki, we wouldn't be here right
No,
now.
that would be amazing.
I would.
Sorry, 90s era Steve Buscemi though. He can get it.
That's
No,
all
yeah.
I want is Steve Buscemi to be Loki, because then I would fully identify with Loki. I'd be like, yep.
Right? He'd be
I
like,
think Odin lives in Asgard because he too fears what he created.
"It's tipping automatically. It's for the birds."
Just help.
All right. So at some point we should probably read something.
Yeah, I guess.
The-
You want
theoretically.
to start with a fic, Ryan? Or-
Yeah, I actually have a Thorky fic. Which
Is
you'll see
that so?
Which is not actually going to be the case for this podcast, it seems. But spoilers. So this one is called Unexpected Company. And the summary is 7 Minutes in Heaven, the Asgardian version.
No.
I was reading
Yes.
the other day. There's no actual like version of heaven for Nordic
I thought it was
mythology.
Valhalla.
Well, that's right. It's
But I think that's-
Valhalla, but no, but there's something wrong with it. Like you have to like fight forever. Or
Oh,
something.
yeah, no, it's like
Well,
an
that's what they
afterlife
wanted.
thing where I think you have to like fight up a tree or something. No, I'm getting this wrong, but it was similar. You definitely had to prove yourself.
There was a tree,
And then
I
there's
think.
like there's like a different there's hell with one L, and then there's actual hell.
Yeah, so like
That's like not
hell with one
like,
L is
it's
just
hell.
like Loki's daughter.
Yeah, it's like
But
purgatory. It's like you just wait
He's
in
her
line.
mother. Like in all the stuff I'm reading, like it's like they don't describe it as like he transforms into something that gives birth. It's just like he gives birth, and I just like I don't know.
Yeah, dude, he's the original Empreg. That's why I
Yeah.
suggested this thing, because like there's not a lot of. You don't have to get creative when you're
don't.
trying to explain
Yeah.
why he's
Yeah.
pregnant. And I've heard many an explanation as to why a man got pregnant in these fics.
Yeah,
absorbed his twin sister in the womb, perhaps.
What?
Oh, you've never... Oh, I've heard that
Oh
one
my
before.
gosh. Okay. I'm mostly just deep in the Harry Potter, and they just like create some kind of magic womb or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Of course.
Spell. Of course.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I guess Ryan.
So I'm so sorry, Ryan. Please go on. I'm gonna shoosh.
Okay. So again, 7 Minutes in Heaven, the Asgardian version. Yeah. I'm sorry, what are you doing? Loki, is that you? Thor, for Ymir's sake, let go, I'm fine. I'm sorry, brother, I did not mean to startle you. Yes, just unhand me. What are you doing here? I'm not sure. Fandral brought me. He said there dwelt a maiden here that would do anything a man desired for the span of 10 minutes, so long as he remained silent. I tried to tell him that I do not have time for such company, as I am expected at my recitation lesson. But he would not hear it, and he shoved me through the door instead. Brother? A maid that would do anything a man desired? That is what he said, yes. Dwelling inside the broom cupboard. Thor flushed, though Loki could not see it. I did not think it made much sense either, but like I said, he dragged me here despite my protestations. Probably made a wrong probably made a wrong turning on the way to Hildy's room. Hey, Loki. Loki, what? It's not as though she does anything to contradict her reputation. In fact, I rather think she relishes it. Even so, yes. Well, leaving aside the question of sweet Hildy's maidenhood, shouldn't you be elsewhere, dear brother? Fandral said that he will not unbolt the door until he's convinced that I've had my fill. He claims that pleasurable company will be a welcome distraction for my other duties. Of course he does. I suppose he waits without? Yes. Say, Loki, why were you here in the first place? I was awaiting my secret lover. We were to have a tryst here. Truly, no. Oh. Now leave. Thor, a bolted door is hardly the greatest foe you have faced, and even you should be able to spin Fandral a merry enough tale about the mysterious broom maiden to keep him happy. Thor fidgeted. You're not leaving. It seems a shame to do so before I get what I came for. I thought you had no interest in this maid, and beside, she is not here. No, but you are. There was a lengthy pause. How bold, brother. Why not? The door is bolted. I already told you that I was awaiting someone, did I not? But that was a lie, and, please, brother. Thor heard the quietest of sighs. Oh, fine. Get over here. Several minutes later, Thor emerged into the hallway, hair slightly ruffled and tunic askew. Too full of energy for dull speech lessons, he began walking instead towards the training grounds, joined by Fandral, who unfolded himself on the opposite wall with a grin. So how was it, he asked jovially, clapping Thor on the shoulder. Everything that you said and more, friend. The smile came easily to Thor's face, as it always did after such sessions with Loki. It was not often that they had the chance upon moments to be together during the day, and Thor found that he was suffused with great warmth that would surely last till night fell and he could seek out his brother again. Laughing, Thor broke into a sprint, leaving Fandral to give a startled cry as he struggled to catch up. Thor wanted to reach the ground as quickly as possible. He felt as though he could wrestle an entire army and win. And then the author does a decent tie into the movies after that, but it's pretty boring. So finished.
Well, it's exactly what I expected from this fandom. I don't know.
It was slightly better than my really, really angsty one, I think.
Yeah, I think so. I guess
Time.
Yeah, I'm just having a hard time getting into this ship. I'll be honest with you. I'm really, really kind of struggling.
Here's what it is, though. I mean, obviously, Loki comes in often as a sympathetic character, mostly because he's good looking, but also because he even mentions it in this third film that both of you have so kindly neglected. A film directed by Taika Waititi. I don't understand how you could ever skip over
sorry,
this.
I just don't pay money
I just
movies anymore. Sorry. It's a lie. I went and saw The Disaster Artist. Okay, I guess I could.
Yeah, that was
Fine. Call me out.
Anyway, so in the third one, he explains, he goes, well, we're just going to keep doing this. I'm going to help you out, and then I'm going to betray you, and then I'm going to kind of help you out, then I'm going to betray you again, and you're just going to keep trusting me. And I was like, look, there's something about calling out the reason that it's working, and you should not do that. Like, I just feel like there's like sometimes when it's too on the nose, it like shatters the illusion a little. Like, for example, I remember, do you remember back when Master of None started winning more awards? And I think his co-writer comes up and he goes, thank you, white men, for saturating the market so much that a TV show about a young Indian man and his Asian friend can win some awards because it looks like fresh programming. And I'm like, yeah, that's the only reason it's won awards, because it's a preachy, irritating show.
I actually couldn't watch more than one episode or two of it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like, don't point out what's making this work for you, because it's going to disrupt the illusion.
That's fair. That's very fair.
Just pretend like you don't see it.
Yeah, exactly. Just, like, it's like Supernatural. Just, if they actually like brought up the fact that Cass is so useless, then they like, all they would have to do is every time he spoke, they'd be like, why are you here? You have ruined everything so many times. Please exit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, Cris. Whoa. Cris, would you like to share with us?
So I don't have a fic, but I do have a story, like an OG kind of story, like back in the North, not, I can't say it, I'm having struggles. The Norse mythology. Okay. So I was going back and I wanted to just kind of get more of a sense of Loki's character. And so I'm going to tell the first part of this myth that has really the only important part. Okay, so this is I'm not going to be able to say any of these Nordic names. The marriage of Njord. I'm just going to go with...
Just say it with confidence.
Your struggle is adding to the experience.
The marriage of Njord and Skady. I know it's not right. Just going to go with it. So, this tale begins where the kidnapping of Idun ends. While the gods were celebrating their slaying of the giant Thjazi and the return of the youth-giving goddess Idun to their halls, an unannounced visitor stormed into their merrymaking. This was the giantess Skady, who had arrived with armor and weapons to avenge the death of Thjazi, her father. The gods were patient with her and convinced her to accept reparations instead of seeking vengeance. These reparations came in 3 parts. First, Odin took Thjazi's eyes and ceremoniously cast them into the night sky, where they became 2 stars. Second, the gods were to make Skady laugh. After many feats were tried, none succeeded in bringing a smile to the grim face of the giantess. At last, Loki tied one end of a rope to a goat and the other around his testicles, and then began a game of tug-of-war with the goat. Each screeched and howled in turn until at last Loki fell over into Skady's lap. The giantess couldn't help but chuckle. There you go. So Loki is like the kind of dude who's like, hey, there's some harsh vibes in here. Can tell there's a lot of tension. I'm just gonna go and tie my testicles to a goat, and then we're gonna play some tugs of warsies, and then I'm probably gonna pass out from pain, but it's all gonna be cool, fam. So that's my interpretation of Loki in the mythology. Yeah.
Right.
I am skimming through and making sure I can find a really good section of this, but I'd like to introduce my fic category: male/male relationships, Loki/Thor, Loki/Mjolnir. Um,
I think I read a few of these.
yeah, that's where we're at right now.
I'm hoping you chose the one that I chose not to read.
I don't know if
We'll find out.
is this the one. It's just here's what's bugging me is Tom Hiddleston brings such a panache to his characterization of Loki, a very sly, a very sassy, a very breathy kind of delivery.
He's very hot, basically.
He's very hot, but you know, it's got like the what I'm saying is he doesn't deliver in a very monotonous tone. I'll tell you that. So in order to emulate this, a lot of fan fiction authors that I've been kind of like seeing is there's a lot of italics. It's just like italicized everywhere. There's sorry, I'm going to skip away from that first one really quick. I know I love to do this as I introduce something and then I walk away from it immediately, but this one's a cute one.
Especially with parents.
So, but anyway, the other one I'm not even going to read to you, but definitely Thor. There's a line where he goes, "I'm going to make you sit on it." So that's all you need to know.
I was talking about.
Oh yeah. This one's pretty cute. It's crack, so it's you know, it's the way it is on purpose, but it's still cute. Anyway, Thor is so the little backstory here is Thor is kind of upset that, you know, because Loki's been causing trouble for the Avengers, etc., and he wants to. You know, Natasha is speaking with Thor, and it says that she did not seem to understand why Loki should have been distressed to learn himself a frost giant. You know, Thor says, "But I've assured him that I love him nevertheless, despite the evil of his nature." And anyway,
we could all be so lucky,
and
right?
Of course. So anyway, so she's talking to him about this, and she goes. She then offered him a lengthy explanation, which Thor followed not at all, of Loki's confusion and something internalized, and a thing called a psychotic having broken within him. Perhaps this last was some Midgardian name for the smaller bone of the lower leg, which Loki had cracked upon a metal strut during their last battle. Thor knew not how to make much sense of it. All his life, when faced with such circumstances, he had sought Loki and made him listen in his stead, and either explain or, more often than not, assure him that he need to know, so long as Loki did. So basically, he's like, you know, confused, and Natasha says, "Don't talk to him. Go talk to the Avengers therapist."
Oh my gosh, can I go? I feel like that person's super qualified. Like anyone who can help the Hulk can help me.
Emphasis on super.
Anyway, Ryan.
But when Tony falls asleep because Bruce is talking to him was like the saddest thing I'd ever seen.
I don't know what.
Bruce doesn't deserve that. He's a good boy.
He's kind of like an angry golden retriever. So keep going. Anyway,
sorry. Yeah. How am I to do so? Thor said, seizing upon the one opening which offered him a chance of some action. I've already told him. I wouldn't really recommend having that conversation again, the therapist said. I'd suggest you stick to physical demonstration of affection, to be honest. What? Thor said. Give him hugs, the therapist said, when he'll stand still for them. Thor wandered out stunned by the idea. It never would have occurred to him. It was all the more valuable for that, and he eagerly attempted to put it into practice the next opportunity which offered. I think itself is missing. Loki, of course, did not stand still for the hug, but that difficulty Thor knew how to address. What are you doing? Lord Loki demanded, after Thor had managed with much effort to pinion his arms to his side and envelop him in his arms. I am hugging you, Thor explained, that you may know I love you, despite your madness. And then, anyway, so he's So she's explaining to him that non-consensual hugging is not a good idea. But then anyway, so like I think basically the whole rest. So then he explains to Clint about this. And sorry, the guy says non-consensual. Okay, so the hugging seemed at first rather to infuriate and madden Loki to new heights. It drew also the condemnation of some of his allies. Thor, no offense, Tony Stark said, but the love-in is just not working for me. Something about how Loki keeps managing to escape while you're busy hugging him instead of putting him in chains. Also, our PR firm is going to quit over having to explain why one of us keeps snuggling the bad guy in public. Thor persevered, however, until the sixth occasion. Loki's eyes glittered savagely, and he hissed, "If you so badly require more evidence we are not kin, I will give it to you," and then closed the distance between them and kissed him on the mouth. Thor, startled, released him. Loki laughed wildly and vanished. "No!" Thor roared, and flung Mjolnir down in frustration. He had begun to mark his success by the length of time he managed to keep Loki in his arms. He stormed back to the tower, vowing that next time he would not be so easily taken in. His friends exchanged looks. Barton said, "Thor, do you really want to start playing gay chicken with Loki? I don't think that's really the best idea."
It's the only game I ever have wanted to play.
Thor made Stark and Barton explain to him the nature of this competition, so he was well prepared for it next time, when Loki indeed proceeded, from kissing to squirming his hand between Thor's legs and stroking him. Thor blushed fiercely. Loki's fingers were long and deft, and he could not help rousing in a most unbrotherly fashion, but he held fast. I will not be the first to cry chicken," he told Loki firmly, "nor will I ever give over hugging you, brother."
That's really
Just stopping here.
No,
but,
oh my gosh.
Because I'm pretty sure they do it.
Pretty sure something happens.
But it's just like, I'm not going to cry chicken.
But just the phrase "gay chicken" is something that's gonna stick with me. I'm gonna take that away
You never
from
heard it
tonight.
before?
No, I haven't heard it before.
Wow.
Wait, I thought you watched The League.
I have watched most of the League, but I don't.
Yeah. Did you never get to that episode where they start like touching dicks in the middle of their living
I
room?
feel like I have
What?
seen that, but I'm not 100%.
Yeah, they're
What
all
season is that? What
screaming.
season?
I think it's a later
I've only-
season. I want to
I've
say
only
it's
seen, like 2.5.
I feel like it's one of the episodes where Sophia's visiting her mom, and so she's rigged up the whole house with cameras, and so Ruxin keeps inviting people over to his house, but he tells them that they have to stay in the zone where the dead zone where the cameras can't see them. No, and then at one point she's like, "Let me check up on my husband," and she like picks up the iPad where it has like the camera running the whole time, and it's like him and Kevin playing gay chicken, and they're trying to like touch their dicks together, and then like she's screaming, and then everyone in that room is screaming, and her mom is screaming, and like
I am also screaming.
Usually,
it's a quality show. I would recommend it to anybody.
I'm interested.
You have my attention.
You had my curiosity, now you have my attention. Wow.
Yeah. I feel like we learned a lot today.
So on that note, but anyway, Chris, do you have any other thoughts? I know I'm an overwhelming.
No. It's nothing could overwhelm me. The most overwhelming thing right now is just that I'm talking about a real thing that's named Thorky. So that's what's getting to me.
That's
So mostly what I'm interested in right now is like understanding the whole like family tree as it relates to like the actual mythology, which seems to be like, so Odin adopted Loki. And so Loki is not actually Thor's brother. So this is not actually incest.
No. That's why it works for some
in the
people.
Marvel universe, it is.
No,
What?
no, it's the same thing. He's the
Why
frost
did they
giant that was
consider
adopted.
themselves- Okay, that's just like.
also, here's the spoiler warning.
Sorry. Okay, alright, fine.
That's from the first movie, guys. We all established.
Oh yeah, you're right.
It's like 8 years
So
old.
then, like,
Same.
my other
7,
question.
sorry.
Wow, Thor's been in my life for that long. Gosh. Okay, so then basically, so Loki actually gives birth also. And the other thing is, all of his kids, Loki gives birth to. Like, Loki doesn't go around impregnating people like Zeus. No, Loki just gives birth.
Loki gets shit done, is my
But it's
understanding.
It's so
Yeah.
unclear to me if it's, like, actually, like, so... it doesn't tell me if he's actually shape-shifting to give birth, or if...
No, well, because I mean, as you've learned with Sleipnir, I don't know if the full story is if he stays a horse through the whole gestation period and then gives birth to Sleipnir and then turns back into Loki, or if he's just chilling with an 8-legged horse in his tum-tum as a person, and then I don't know the whole process.
I'm just gonna throw it out here. This is the first time we've mentioned Sleipnir in this podcast. So you just threw anyone listening to this for the biggest of loops.
Wait. I think
So we're just talking about Loki getting pregnant. Like, yeah, so there's this horse and then an 8-legged horse giving birth.
Yeah.
So the story is, if I'm not mistaken, and I may be very, very extra mistaken, but my understanding was there was Odin needed to build, I want to say like Asgard, or at least a town. So let's just say a generic town. It could be Asgard, might not be Asgard. And then this, in a specific amount of time, and this foreman guy was like, hey, like me and my horse are going to fucking like fuck this up for you, in a good way. Sorry. In a positive fuck this up way. We're going to do this in like an allotted amount of time. And if you give it to us, if we finish it in that amount of time, then you let us like rule over the town. And Odin's like, yeah, I got some tricks up my sleeve. Like, sure thing, buddy. Like you and your fucking horse can live your lives. And I guess like the horse was like a carpenter. I don't know, I might be wrong, but like the horse was like doing most of the work. And so like they're getting pretty close to the deadline. And then he's like, oh shit, this guy's actually going to like finish in time. Like that's insane. And then I'm going to have to like let him rule over the land. Not on my watch. So he tells Loki to be like, yay, Loki, go fuck some shit up in a negative way. See, comes back. Loki is like, all right, man. So he takes a page out of Bugs Bunny's book, dresses up, aka shapeshifts into a sexy lady horse, and it goes like, hey there, man horse, you looking for a good time? Because that's how he talks. And the man horse is like, hell yeah, I haven't boned a lady horse in like however long it's been that I've been building this city. And she's like, she as in Loki is like, let's get it on, and they just pop in some like Marvin Gaye and Barry White and like, horse hoof it down to like Bone Town. And then he like basically is like, haha, I distracted you, suck it. And like the town isn't done in time. So he's like, ha ha ha. But I believe, the joke's on Loki in the end, because he's like, ha ha ha, you are pregnant. And so Loki's, he's like, I can live. So bringing back to my original question was, I'm still fuzzy on the details. I don't recall if Loki was like, I'm just going to tough it out for this whole gestation period as a lady horse.
So, this is what the page says, and it is not going to give you any answers. So it says, blah, blah, blah. Loki mated with a powerful male stallion while disguised as a mare. As his parentage and his progeny are all outside of the normal state of affairs, even in the godly world, scholars believe that there must have been pertinence to his connection to so many dark and powerful figures in the Norse pantheon. And so, basically what I've been reading everywhere that I found is just like, they skip over the part of the gestation period. It's like, boom, Loki just baby. Like, yeah. Like,
Well, anyway, he gives birth to an 8-legged horse named Sleipnir. I don't know how to pronounce it correctly.
Same.
But no, and I think Sleipnir means something. Are you on the page? Can you look and tell me what Sleipnir means? Because I think it meant something really crazy. But Sleipnir ends up being ridden into battle by Odin. So his grandpa rides him into battle. Rude.
Ow, that sounds like something I would need to talk about with the Avengers therapist.
Right? I wish the Avengers, like, now that they're going to space, like, now that the story is, like, taking place more in space, I think, I'm hoping, I don't know, is he coming to Earth? I'm hoping it would be more in space, is that, like, they get more into the Nordic mythology stuff, because that's so much more fun. I don't know.
You're probably right.
But anyway.
I'm just thinking about, like, what would possess me to tie something around a goat and then my testicles still. I'm not over this, okay?
Sleipnir means Slippy.
It's just, like, it seems like he did a lot of weird stuff. Like, Loki was just really...
You had a weird phase, okay?
He's, like, still in the phase. Although, still my favorite Loki is, like, the supernatural version of Loki.
Oh, no, but that's fake
Yeah,
Loki.
but I like it, because it's like, haha. You know, nothing... It's like trying to be, like, intersectional, right? It's failing. Yep, it was the wrong...
Yep.
It was the word.
We'll leave it at that exasperated sigh.
Yeah, pretty much.
You've done it now.
Usually.
You're gonna be an earful later.
It was more just like, I felt like, you know, they're trying to be like, oh yeah, and then Loki corresponds to this person in the Christian pantheon, but it doesn't actually make any sense. Oh well. Anyway, cue supernatural rant. So yeah, I guess final opinions on Thorky.
Not coming.
Look, I can see it in the same way of, like, it. I can see kind of like where they would kind of frame it, like with like the same way that, like, the Dean and Cass thing, where it's like one character is like way out of his league in terms of understanding anything, and the other character is like, I'll show you the way, and I'm very, like, quirky and sassy.
That's a good comparison. Yeah.
You know, but in another sense, I feel like often the only reason that this relationship would make sense would be for hate fucking, because I feel like they just have so much animosity.
Yeah, I could get it from that angle, to be sure.
Yeah. But I don't see any sort of affection. That's not, like, where I'm following this from.
Yeah, I'm not really... I don't understand the whole... I feel like it's... I also just see, like, a difference on intellectual capacity between... and they just don't seem, like, intellectually well matched.
You're right. And their motivations don't match.
Like, you know, a little bit.
Exactly.
Also, like, Thor seems very straight. Loki is definitely queer as hell, but...
Oh, yeah. He's like a queer icon.
Yeah, basically. He's like the Babadook.
I wasn't expecting you to say Babadook. Even as you were saying Babadook, my brain was like, she's not referring to the Babadook. She's talking about a character named Babadook. And I'm like, who's Babadook?
Straight up how I feel about it. I'm not going to take it back. Loki and Babadook have some real vibes, I think.
Let me see those fics.
That's my crossover AU. Okay, Loki / Babadook.
Loki. Hell yeah, Loki Duke.
That's all I need. That's all I've ever wanted.
Baboki.
Baboki. Thank you very much.
That should be your next poll. What should be the ship name for Loki?
Okay.
Spoilers for tonight's episode.
Actually, that's happening. Yep.
So on that note, we have a Twitter.
We do.
Indeed.
Follow it. It's Shipwrecked Cast because Twitter doesn't let us have all the characters we want.
Yeah.
So SHIPWREKTCAST. Follow us. We
which
post
is
things sometimes.
Fun because it's a double meaning. It's both the podcast and the cast of characters that we bring you every week. Oh,
It's true. Yep. That's all I have to say about the matter.
That's true. It's not wrong.
that's it.
Yeah, I mean,
very
everyone should
That's all I have to say
be
about
aware
that.
that I run the Twitter account, so
Well, now you're ruined the
Oh,
surprise.
sorry.
So if you have any questions, comments, complaints, concerns,
Well, it should all
or
be
Yeah, tweet at one of them
Okay.
and not the account. No, I'm kidding.
You won't
no,
get any.
just
There's no help for you here.
hit us up on Shipwreckcast, or I guess cyberbully us in person if you
Fine.
find
Man, I
out.
want to get cyberbullied IRL.
I don't really want to be cyberbullied.
I used to cyberbully people on my Instagram account.
Nice.
Stop
Proud of
tagging
you.
me in your salad, and that's all I'm going to say about that.
All right. I guess I can plug my Twitter that I never use.
Yeah,
Something people do. It's Ryan isn't a nerd. All one word. No apostrophes. Like my name, Ryan.
and what's it called? We've proven that tonight because he hasn't seen all the Avengers movies.
Yeah.
Boo.
Yeah, it's not a nerd enough.
If you want to tell me that I talk way too much, you can hit me up at spaghetti or not. Parentheses, here I come. But yeah, that's me, spaghetti or
If
not.
you want to hit me up, you can only message Shipwrecked Cast because I don't actually exist. So,
That's fair.
yep.
Just a disembodied voice in the
No, I'm
Twitter
not
account.
real. Don't try and look me up. You don't got this.
Don't do it. It's dark.
Yep.
All right. I guess that's a good finish. See you guys next week.
Maybe.